Hello, this is Matt again with our sections on summary, limitations, and finally our concluding points. This sequence of slides is all text-based and contains no images. To start with summary, some studies focused on distance consultation in a phenomenological sense. For example, Kostenko and Dovoplowa in the Ukraine-based 2021 study found that using information and communication technology for remote psychological and pedagogical help for families of children with special educational needs is promising, and the need is increasing. They did find that the subsection of children and their families where there was visual impairment and the professionals who work with them, that subsection needed more study. Also, we observed that there were few really strong findings overall because of the low number of studies in total. And also, we think because of the methods such as surveys that were used, those did not really allow for many really strong findings to be brought to the fore. And another point is that a key factor prompting the recent profusion of research, it was not some technological advent or some geographical quandary, but it was the COVID-19 pandemic and the consequent public health measures, such as social distancing, that led to the need for distance consultation and the ensuing research. However, the literature review team tried not to let COVID-19's place occlude other factors and dynamics that might be at play. Then we noted the importance of the presence of someone else in the home in the studies, for example, Rosenblum in 2021. And sometimes a positive effect on that person, and the student in their role as a family unit was that it strengthened that unit overall. For example, a Hesse's 2021 study indicated this. Then, providing equipment to family may not be sufficient in itself. Found some studies, such as Bellicenti, McDermott, et al. In 2021, who particularly pointed out the need for a role such as a technological navigator or someone similar to go along with whatever equipment, whatever setup was provided. Moving now to a single slide on limitations. One set of limitations was that our lower date threshold and upper age threshold might have entailed some useful research being excluded. Similarly, the exclusion criterion of telehealth, telemedicine, and similar themes, and the inclusion criterion that those involved with studies should have at least one visual impairment might again have led to some useful research being excluded in our literature review. And finally, despite our best efforts to capture variations in the language, it could be that our codes that we settled on and other search terms might not have captured all the work that we termed distance consultation. For example, certain countries might have used the term distance consultation in a particularly idiosyncratic way, or have other terms for what we term as distance consultation. My final sequence of slides is our concluding points. Firstly, the scarcity of research is likely largely due to the only fairly recent advent of usable and appropriate technologies. For example, it's only been in the last 20 years or so that home and associated broadband internet use has really been in the majority of homes in, for example, the USA, and similarly across the world. Secondly, as mentioned before, there has been a profusion of very recent studies linked to COVID-19 and the consequent social distancing and other factors, making in-person consultation somewhat rare. Next, it is prudent to distinguish between COVID-19 studies where those findings are tied specifically to the pandemic, as opposed to studies where the findings have more general application. And we tried to be on our guard to making sure that we included both types of findings. Next, we thought it was important, an important caution, not to, as it were, apologize the notable sparsity of research too much, to emphasize it too much. For example, a finding based on a small sample, perhaps if it's followed up by studies with a similarly small number of participants, for example, might still be significant, perhaps enduringly so in its own right, merely because it's based on a small sample should not necessarily detract from that. Secondly, distance consultation was generally well received, we found in the literature, by the three stakeholder groups: students, families, and teachers, and sometimes other professionals. And finally, we found that important considerations that some researchers found just had to be taken into consideration include, for example, mental health, that may be, in the case of COVID-19, related to ongoing isolation. Also, a researcher such as Rosenblum emphasized the need for, as it were, a bespoke setup for each and every student according to their specific needs. For example, if they have multiple disabilities. Thank you very much.